Welcome back to The Explainer. Let's just dive right into this, all right? Today, we're looking at Claude Code Update 2.1.199. I'm literally so excited to share this one with you guys because honestly, it is an absolute massive win for developer workflow momentum. I mean, if you've ever had your flow totally derailed by those infuriating silent failures, or maybe you just felt like you were moving a bit too slow composing your context, well, this is exactly the reliability upgrade we've all been waiting for.
Here's our roadmap for this explainer. We're going to start with the reliability release itself, then jump into stacked/skills, look at the smarter error handling, dive into background and subagent fixes, and then finish up with some awesome quality of life updates.
Okay, part 1. The reliability release, maintenance, and momentum.
So the really crucial point here is understanding the core philosophy of this update, right? 2.1199 focuses on one major user-facing feature alongside massive bug fixes across agents, subagents, and the CLI. Even though this is technically billed as a maintenance and reliability release, it fundamentally changes your day-to-day developer experience. It gives power users this fantastic new tool to play with, absolutely, but more importantly, it heavily reinforces the background safety net. The whole idea is just to eliminate those frustrating workflow interruptions. Once you hit your stride, you literally never lose it.
Moving on to part 2, stacked/skills. Compose context faster.
Think about how this used to work. Previously, if you typed something like /skill A and then /skill B in your prompt, Claude Code would stubbornly only load that very first skill. It was a huge limitation, right? It totally forced developers into using some pretty hacky workarounds just to set up their context. But now, it actually loads all leading /skills together. You can instantly compose multiple skill context in a single prompt invocation. It's a real game changer.
And the scale of this new power comes down to a single number, 5. 5 is your new maximum limit for stacked skills. You can now sprint so much faster by combining up to 5 different skills simultaneously right out of the gate. Just think about how much more precision and context you can inject into a single command now without having to break your workflow into all these tiny, annoying multiple steps.
Let's hit part 3, smarter error handling, banishing silent failures.
To build this new safety net, the update specifically targets 3 major pain points. First up, SSL certificate errors. Instead of silently burning through retries before telling you anything, these now fail immediately and actually show you a fix hint. Love that. Second, midstream server errors. If the API drops out after sending partial output, well, that work used to just vanish into thin air. Not anymore. Now, your partial response is actually saved and flagged with an incomplete response notice so you don't lose your work. And third, transient 429s. These are those rate limit errors that are completely unrelated to your personal usage limit. Well, these are now automatically retried with a back-off strategy for subscribers rather than just failing to turn out right.
300. Yep. 300 is the new default retry limit for those non-capacity errors, which is managed by the new CLAUDE code retry watchdog environment variable. This completely removes that old super restrictive cap of just 15 retries, so your code is now far, far more resilient against temporary network hiccups.
Okay, part 4, background and subagent fixes, repairing the engine.
Let's take a look at what's actually been fixed under the hood here, starting with what I like to affectionately call the 50-second Linux daemon bug. This was incredibly chaotic, you guys. Basically, if an unclean shutdown left a corrupted worker record, the daemon would literally go into this infinite loop, killing itself in every running agent approximately every 50 seconds. I mean, talk about disruptive, but rest assured, that whole 50-second self-destruct sequence has been completely patched out.
We've also got a rapid-fire list of squashed bugs. That super frustrating macOS SSH cold start failure, the audit session regression from 2.1.196, is completely history. The race condition where a Claude stop command could just be silently undone by a background agent respawn, fixed. Progress indicators for background jobs stalling out for minutes on end, also fixed. And finally, low memory situations now actually give you a descriptive error suggesting you free up resources, rather than just spitting out a generic, completely unhelpful failure message.
So how does this improved subagent logic actually work in practice? Well, step 1, a subagent gets cut off by a limit or an error. Step 2, instead of silently failing and just dropping everything into the void, it now returns whatever partial work it actually managed to complete. And step 3, the API error itself is correctly reported up the chain to the parent agent instead of pretending everything was totally fine and successful. You keep your work, and you actually know exactly what went wrong.
Wrapping up the subagent cleanups here. The tool now smartly detects routing mismatches. Because before, if a respawn agent reused a previous agent's name, a send message bug used to send messages to the completely wrong place. Now it actually catches that name mismatch and prompts you to retarget. Also, idle subagents no longer just mysteriously vanish from your UI. Instead, surplus idle agents neatly collapse into this really nice expandable summary row to keep your workspace perfectly clean.
Finally, Part 5. Quality of life updates. Polishing the workflow. Now these might seem like small tweaks, but honestly, they make the CLI experience feel significantly more refined on a day-to-day basis. Hooks exiting with code 2 will now actually show standard error output. And this next one is a huge relief. Corrupted config files are now safely backed up before being reset, rather than being unrecoverably nuked. Plan mode now correctly prompts you for state-changing browser tools while smoothly auto-allowing the read-only ones. And lastly, PR links and session rows display nice and clean as just a bare number, dropping that redundant PR label.
To quote the official notes directly on this, for the full Claude Code manual and deeper context on how these features fit together, visit claudemaster.net. The complete changelog is at the official GitHub repository. I highly encourage you to check those resources out to see exactly how perfectly these tools can fit your specific workflow.
So here's the big question I want to leave you with today. With up to 5 stacked skills at your fingertips and 0 silent failures holding you back, what are you gonna build next? It is such a great time to be coding. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope you found it as fascinating as I did. Get out there, update your tools, and keep building.